Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I'm a knitter, a sewist, a gardener, and this is my channel where I share everything to do with living a handmade, homegrown and slow life. So today's video, I thought I would show you guys my process of learning how to quilt. So if you watched my last video, which was my spring makes plans video, I talked about how I really have wanted to make a quilt. Well, a few quilts. I'd love to make a quilt for all the different rooms in the new house that we're buying. But I'm just going to start off with one quilt for our bedroom. And I talked about how I've been saving lots of scraps and things like that to make a quilt. I also, as well, for my birthday last year, got this amazing book. Yeah, so this is the book. This is Quilting by Hand by Rianne Elise. I think that's how you pronounce her name, which is a beautiful, beautiful book. I shared this back in... I can't remember. There was a vlog that went up in January, I think, where I shared this, that I was reading this. And it's a really interesting book all about hand quilting techniques that have been used for hundreds and hundreds of years to create beautiful quilts. Now, I have decided that I don't want to piece my quilt together by hand. That's not something that I'm particularly interested in this time around. I want to use the sewing machine to piece my patchwork together, but the plan is to hand quilt it. So I'm really, really excited to use this book to learn some of the hand quilting techniques once I've pieced it together. What I have got is this massive bag of scraps, all in blues, pinks, greys, all those kind of tones. Anything that I sewed over the last... oh gosh, like 2 years actually I've been saving this, that I thought would go with the decor in our bedroom. I have been sort of saving in this little bag, big bag now, ready to make up a quilt. So I know some of you will have been watching me for a while, so you'll know that we are moving house. So you're probably thinking, why on earth are you making a quilt for a bedroom that you're leaving? Well, actually, we have got like lots of bedding and towels and things like that that go with this particular colour scheme. And also I love it so much, and we've got some leftover wallpaper. I'm actually thinking of recreating the same decor in the new house in our bedroom, just because we've got lots of we've got like a chair and things like that that go with this colour scheme. So this quilt will go in the new house. I don't think it'll be finished. It'll probably be finished in the new house. So yeah, that's what's going to happen with that. Now, I absolutely love those like star quilts. I know that there's an official name for them. I can't remember what it is, but those like star quilts that you get, I really, really love those. But I do think that that's a little bit too ambitious for my first quilting project. So I've decided to keep it super, super simple, and I am just going to cut out squares and I'm just going to sew those squares together. Now, I have seen on Pinterest, I've got a big quilting board on my Pinterest with all the inspiration. I have seen that some people then sort of turn it so that you actually end up with like diamonds. So it may be that I do that, but I thought I would simply start by sewing together some blocks. So I'd start to sew together some squares that I could then do like dip in and out of, because I think I will get a bit overwhelmed if I just sit and try to sew an entire quilt in one go. So I think it's best for me if I sort of do one block at a time, and I'm going to try and set myself the challenge of sewing a block in between every other sewing project. So I sewed a dress in January. I haven't actually done any sewing since then because we've had a lot of stuff going on. So I thought, right, I'll sew a quilt block and then I'll get on to another garment project, because I mostly do dressmaking. So this is very new to me. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to sew block by block until I run out of fabric from this massive bag. And then I'm going to see what's left, and if it's a big enough, if the blocks all together are big enough to make the size of quilt I want, great. If not, I will probably go and look for some fabric, maybe in the charity shop, or I can purchase some if I can't find any that's right, to go in between. So to create like strips in between the blocks to make it big enough so that it covers a king size bed, which is the size that we have. So that's my plan. So today it will be just a very simple block of probably like I don't know, maybe 6 by 6 squares. And I think the squares, I'm thinking like maybe 4 inches across each way. I'm going to kind of be making this up a little bit as I go. So we'll see how that goes. But I thought I'd take you guys along with me. So I hope you enjoy sewing my first ever quilt block with me. I have spoken a lot this year about how I want to curb my consumption as much as possible, to use what I already have, knit with the yarn, sew with the fabrics, read the books on the shelves. I'm not being very strict. If there is something good which I know will enhance my life or is fulfilling a need, I will buy it. But I am trying to be much more conscious of each purchase, to think about what I'm bringing into my home and to not allow the worldly desire for more and more to take over. Making this quilt from scraps I have saved over time feels so satisfying. I haven't had to purchase any fabric or thread, and I am able to simply sit down and begin work on my project whenever I choose. I will end with a useful and beautiful item for my home made in a sustainable way. To me, this is the joy of patchwork quilting. It was always a tool for creating something necessary but beautiful from things already in the home. Old clothes fit only for being cut up into small squares and then reinforced with quilting stitches, giving them new life and a new purpose. The exploitation of people in other countries and our planet's resources has meant we've lost these skills, the skills to create beautiful things from what would now be classed as rubbish. Saving scraps of fabric to turn into something else is a revolutionary act. A statement that says no, I will not throw away as we are encouraged by culture to do, but I will instead create with what I have. Each fabric tells a story, a memory of a dress made for summertime, or a cushion made for a bedroom in what is soon to be our old home. Some of the fabric is thrifted. It lived another life before this one in another's home, hung beautifully as curtains, its floral pattern brightening up the days. Now it hangs in my wardrobe as a dress, and hopefully by the end of this year will lie as part of a quilt on my bed. The things we make and the materials we choose to make them with tell stories. They make a difference in the world, for good or for bad, and they bring magic to our everyday lives. I've been reading a beautiful book called The Art of Homemaking by Edith Schaefer. In the book, she says, "Remember that he who created you to be creative gave you the things with which to make beauty and gave you the sensitivity to appreciate and respond to his creation. Creativity is his gift to you, and the raw materials to be put together in various ways are his gift to you as well. Be satisfied with the fact that although your art or talent may never be accepted by the world as anything great, and may never be your career, it can be used to enrich your day-by-day life, enrich it for you and for the people with whom you live. And come to the recognition of the fact that it is important for you to be creative in this area to the extent of your talent, important for you as a person who is a creative creature." Okay, I am finished with my quilt block. Here it is. I'm going to try and hold it up whilst I'm also holding my microphone. I'm so pleased with this. It's really pretty. Some of the fabrics are directional, so I've tried to keep them in the right direction. I did go wrong. I think I might have turned the camera off at that point. I had to unpick some of them because I'd sewn them in the wrong way round. And you might be able to see as well some of the lines, like just there especially, don't quite line up, but most of them do, and I'm pretty pleased with that. When I said that I was going to start quilting this year, I think I put a post out on my community page on YouTube, and I had a lot of advice and comments, which was lovely. Thank you so much. But somebody said to me, just be prepared for it to be a bit messy and for your lines not to match up and all of that stuff. And I think that that was a really helpful thing for them to say. I know a lot of people also recommended that I get a walking foot, which I didn't. I just used my normal foot, and I use the edge of that as a sort of marker for the edge of the fabric. So I may get a walking foot in the future, but for now, I don't want to. It's quite expensive, a walking foot, so I want to see how I do with sewing this first quilt, and if I love it, which I think I probably will because I'm already getting a bit obsessed. I will probably purchase some more equipment, but for now I'm just going to try and do it with what I've got, especially because I'm wanting to hand quilt, not machine quilt. So this is just for piecing the patchwork together. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So yes, I did 4x4, didn't I? Yeah. So 4 squares by 4 squares, which, you know, it was good. It was about half an hour, I think, maybe 20 minutes of cutting out all the squares, and then about 20 minutes, 30 minutes of sewing it all together. So I think this will be a really good little thing to do in between garment projects, in between longer projects that take a bit longer, because this is just literally a one sewing session thing where I sit and chop, and I think I would probably lose the plot slightly if I had to sit down and cut all the squares for a king size quilt in one go. So I think this is a really healthy, good way to do it. I have used mostly, well, actually, I think they are all cottons. Some of the fabric was thrifted, so I'm not 100% sure, but it's quite stiff fabric, which I think is the best thing to do. I also had some scraps of viscose and some scraps of double gauze, and I decided not to use them this time. I'm going to keep them and see how things go, but I think I'm going to try and make my quilt blocks out of these 4 different prints, because the cotton is much easier to work with, to patch together, because it's that bit stiffer. And as it's my first project, I'm just taking the easiest route possible, because I think that's really important whilst I'm still learning. So yeah, I really enjoyed this little session. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me. I'm sure that I will share in the future maybe the finished quilt, or maybe some more videos on like the progress and how we go. I think what would be quite interesting would be, once I've done all the blocks, to actually film the hand quilting process. That could be quite a while in the future though, so we'll see how long away that ends up being. But yeah, I am really pleased with my first ever quilt block, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like. I would love to hear in the comments if you guys are quilters, or you've ever quilted, or it's something that you want to have a go at. Also, feel free to leave me all your top tips and tricks for quilting. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. I've got a very exciting video coming out next week. So if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe now. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's very exciting. And yeah, I will see you guys over on my Instagram at @ByRachelBean. In the meantime, have a wonderful week. See you next time, guys. Bye.